Morning. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Hi, how are you? I'm good, how are you? Good morning. Yeah, I'm losing my mind. Okay, so, of course, in recent years, we've been having this issue with people forgetting what gender they are. And they're identifying as weird shit. I'm going to let you take that in for a second. I know it's weird. So, I guess that's the new trend or something, like being gender neutral and things of that nature, I guess. So, I'm not going to get into beliefs, and I'm not going to be here to ridicule those people. You may think of it in the past as me saying reality is subjective. I will stand by that to the day I die, because it doesn't make sense in an objective world, because reality has to be perceived. If it's not perceived by consciousness or any type of awareness, then it doesn't exist. Reality is in the mind. It's subjective. Now, these people that were born a man and all of a sudden now they're gender neutral is new. This isn't something that's ever happened in the past, at least to my knowledge, and I've studied a decent chunk, maybe specifically not on this, but I've never heard about this in the past. This is a relatively new experience for us to become trendy into this thing, and that's what it is. It's like a trend. And when you're looking at a man becoming a woman or becoming neutral or whatever the fuck is going on now, you gotta understand that somebody who's identified as a man his whole life, and then all of a sudden now he doesn't identify it because I've always had this weird in the middle neutral thing, or I always thought of myself as kind of being a woman, like if they're identifying as a man their whole life, they know what a man is. Now, it wasn't just because they gave you a male or female section to fill out their whole life, and then all of a sudden now they realize there's probably more. What were we thinking? The guy identified as a man his whole life. Let's say he's 40 years old, identifies as a man, then all of a sudden now he identifies as neutral. That means in his reality, he knows what a man is. But now he's fooling himself. Again, I'm not here to ridicule. For example, if somebody believes the earth is flat, right? I don't ridicule that person. Not at all. He's having his own path and he's having his own reality, and that's cool. Because he truly might believe that the earth is flat, and he didn't force himself to believe this. Now, of course, if you're told your whole life the earth is round, and then all of a sudden now you're thinking like, maybe the earth isn't round, maybe it's flat, there's a lot of evidence for a flat earth. And then you might be like, the same applies to a man who's been told he's a man his whole life, and then realizing he probably isn't. No, it isn't. It's not the same. And I'll explain to you why it's not the same. Because when a man knows he's a man, and wasn't told he was a man, he saw himself, saw others, saw the difference between the man and the female, sees it with his own eyes his whole life, realizes it, and then all of a sudden realizes, maybe I don't have to be a man anymore. Or maybe, like, anything can go through their head. It's a new trendy thing. But of course, the flat earth was trendy, right? So there's a lot of similarities, but there's a distinct line of knowing something and being up in arms, maybe like a little susceptible to something. So when you know you're a man, but you're susceptible to a new thing, weird things happen. If I built a rocket ship, I know it's a rocket ship. I can't identify that as a paper airplane anymore. I'm sorry, I can't. I can't say this is a paper airplane. A, because it's not paper. It's not an airplane. It's It's a rocket. I mean, you can't just build a rocket ship. No, it's a rocket ship. And identify it as a paper airplane. It doesn't make sense. So, again, I'm 100% agreeable that perception equals reality. Your perception, subjectively, creates the reality around you. And you hold your own reality. We are all experiencing reality in different perceptions. Pretty obvious. There is an objective reality, and that's only with a conglomerate of minds. And now you'll see like a man, 40 years old, been a man his whole life, and now identifies as a baby. Tries to live like a baby. Now, this man knows he's a man and knows what a baby is, or else he wouldn't identify as something that he knows exists. He knows what a baby is. He knows if he looks in the mirror, he's not a baby. He was a baby once, but now that he identifies as a baby, it's not only screwing up his reality, not only screwing up his relationships and his friendships. And what am I about? Happiness and longevity. You can't truly be happy sitting in a crib all day as a grown man. Hey, I'm not going to say what you like and what you don't like, right? You know, I like to lounge in bed sometimes, for a few hours before waking up. It's rare, but I do it, and I enjoy doing it. But to do it as a lifestyle is a little weird. Dressing up like a toddler, adult diapers, put a pacifier in your mouth. I mean, this is just an example. I don't know what everyone's identifying as now. I hear Facebook has multiple identities that you can pick. And of course, this is all trendy. This is not something that existed in the past. This is something that's fabricated. It's made up. It's like me saying that space and time is made up. And if things are just made up, to believe it is a little weird to me. But I understand why people do. So, I don't want to make this a long video. I just want to make it known that these people who are identifying as something else knows they're not that something else. They know it. But because it's trendy and because it's, they might get attention from it, because, for example, if somebody's writing or making a cartoon and he's an artist, he draws cartoons. He'll draw a baby, something that comes in his mind that is cute, and he'll draw it and he'll make it a character. You know what I mean? As a cartoonist. But these people are going out and saying that they, because of something that they come up with their head of some cute baby, now they're a cute baby, in their mind. When clearly they're not. And this gender neutral thing is specifically designed to kind of screw up your mind. And if you're being weird and stuff, and now everyone's going to accept you. I mean, you can't force me to accept it. I can't force you to accept my mind. If you don't like my content, go somewhere else. I can't force you to like it. And if you see me out in the streets, I don't have to force you to listen to me. You know what I mean? So, don't feel subjected to having to have mutual friendships or bonds with these people. Don't force yourself to do it if you feel uncomfortable doing it. Ultimately, if you're gay and stuff, if you're gay and you like guys, I'll still talk to you and hang out with you. Same thing if you're picking a weird gender. I'll hang out with you and stuff, but once you start applying your weird fantasies onto me and weirding me out or making me uncomfortable, I'm going to get the fuck out of there. I don't care about your feelings like that. If you're making me uncomfortable, I don't give a fuck about you. That's just how it works. If I'm in the ghetto and, there's 3 teenage thugs, with guns, and they're coming up to me, I don't have to sit there and be friendly. You're making me uncomfortable. You're coming up to me, the white, vulnerable guy who you suspect to have money, and I'm not trying to hate on anybody. but I'm gonna get the fuck out of there. You know, I know what's going on. Same thing if like a adult man is dressing in a tutu, thinking that he's going to ballerina practice as a 5-year-old girl. It's just fucking weird. I know what you're doing. I'm getting the fuck out of there. Making me uncomfortable. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Now, if you're gay and you're talking gay, that's cool. But when you're talking like a baby, I'm going to get the fuck out of there. I don't want to deal with that. I don't even want to deal with a regular baby. You know, I don't want a crying baby around, you know, unless it's mine or something, you know, but, or I have to, or if it's a good friend's kid. But if there's just somebody I don't know and they're crying, I'm going to get the fuck out of there. Even if it's a grown person acting like a grown person, I'm going to get the fuck out of there. So, the point is, you know who you are. This isn't something like a new, thought onto life. It's not like a round earther believing in a flat earth all of a sudden. Because there's a difference. If you don't know there's a flat earth or a round earth, that's different. But you know what a man and a female is. You don't see neutral gender shit in reality. You don't see it, and then you identify some weird shit, right? It doesn't make sense. And you remember when you were a baby or a toddler or a kid or, whatever you want to identify. I guess they're identifying as like animals now or something, or at least that's what they want you to believe. Most of this shit's fake. But ultimately, people are buying into it and it's trendy. And the reason I keep bringing up the word trendy is because when a new trend comes out and you purchase this trend, let's say it's a slinky. Let's say the slinky trend happened and everyone wanted a slinky. Next year, you're not going to be playing with that slinky, probably not even next week, but you wasted your money on it because it was trendy. Something that's trendy is designed for reasons. It's not just because it's something cool and someone came out with a great idea. Now, a lot of times that does happen. But they make it a trend, so you go out and spend your money on it. And you believe this to be like the new cool thing, and it gets you to buy things. This new trend isn't about buying things like Pogs or, what was that thing? Garbage Pail Kids or Pokemon cards. It's not that kind of trend. It's not you purchasing anything. It's fucking up your mind. There's actually a big difference. It's okay to go out and spend $5, $10 on a trend. You'll have more money. But you only got one mind. And you don't want to fuck it up. So, ultimately, am I against these kind of things? Yeah. Because you're screwing up the happiness and longevity of yourself and others. And I say longevity because ultimately, your happiness plays a role in your longevity. And it's going to screw up your relationships. Ultimately, if you're confused, man, search within. Don't search for a new trend in order to think of a false way to become happy. Because being happy isn't here. And if you're happy, do whatever you want. I'm not going to stop you at the end of the day, obviously. You have your own path. But, what's my videos for? To increase the well-being of your life. And to increase your consciousness. Now, of course, if you're identifying as something weird that's not reality, and you're trying to create a new reality, which is really, really weird to me, but if you're trying to do that, you're actually going a step back in consciousness because you're not raising your consciousness. You're throwing it into a tiny bubble of confusion. And you're going to confuse others. I mean, I confuse a lot of people. People call me crazy. You know what I mean? So I identify as a human being, as you do too. We're all in this thing together, and I'm here to help. If somebody's going, I'm having a bad day, I got an AK-47, and, that people at the mall freaking piss me off, I'm going to go over there and try to stop it. But at the end of the day, you got to do what you want. And whether it's devastating to others or not, more devastating to yourself or not, it's your thing. It's you're living your life. I can only apply the help. I can only help. I can't change your mind, but I can coerce you to increase your happiness and well-being. All right, I guess that's it. It's a weird transgender video, and it's just one of those weird things, I guess. And I hope you guys stay well and stay healthy and stay cool, man. Peace.